Again, boy, you're getting a lot of me today. Apologies, but I deserve it because 30 minutes on that horrible torture device of a rowing machine. Erg indeed. Hi, Hewlett, David Hewlett here with another Burn and Learn. Oh my God. Or should I just call it Torture and Complaint? It's probably a better title for it. I've got my coffee. I've got a big glass of water because I've been told I got to drink more water. And yeah, I've done some learning today. I have done some learning. I'm not going to know the names of the author, but maybe I will. Maybe I can do this. Okay, if I pause, I pause. Don't worry about it. I'll be back in 1 second as soon as I look at the Kindle that I'm reading. Here we go. Let's go here. That's right. Oops, lost connection. We're back again now. Okay. So the Technological Republic, Alexander Karp. This is about Palantir. So this is the learn part of my Burn and Learn. The idea being is I hate exercise, but I feel like I got to do it in order to enjoy my retirement years with my fabulous son and my brilliant, beautiful, extraordinary wife, Jane, and our unfortunate menagerie of pets, including Casper the mystery gecko, and then of course Huzzah the mutt princess. So there's a few people I want to be around here for to enjoy. Once I can stop all this work and just go to retirement, which is kind of like being an actor, anyways, for the most part. Wow, look at that hair. Do I go forward? Do I go back? What does one do with hair like this? I think one ignores it. So what I like to do is I like to learn something while I'm doing the exercise. And today I've been listening to this book, this Technological Republic. Alexander Karp, Palantir is the name of the company, and I got to say they don't have a great reputation. Certainly in the press that I've been reading, there's issues with them being used to do facial recognition for ICE, which are these raids against allegedly illegal immigrants, which even that is in question on a number of these people, and they've got the wrong people sent to the wrong places, and it's just kind of disgusting. So their technology is being incorporated into a lot of government activity, and of course, right now, if you don't agree with the government activity that's going on, not a good thing. And this is not the first time, obviously, that this kind of stuff has happened. What I was interested in was getting in the mind of this guy. This is a guy who's created a company which seemed sort of almost expressly to work with the military. But when you go on to see, I know, yeah, Palantir. I mean, I just even as a name, Anquiitis, as I agree, even just as a name, it's extraordinary. This idea of an evil, all-seeing eye in Lord of the Rings. You think you should name your company that, and you want to work for the government, but the government works with them. They amass large amounts of information through open sources, through social media, and again, this is my understanding now. I'll probably get more into it once I get into the book more. But they amass these large amounts of information about the population, and then they can use that for all sorts of law enforcement and immigration and Department of National Defense stuff. So, and they came about soon after 9/11. When obviously we were looking for as much information as we could find on our potential enemies. So I was very curious to know what this guy's thought would be on why would you do this? Like why would you sort of? It seemed to me that there was a distrust for governments in this situation, and certainly after all of the things that came up over the years, in the various different parties running America, including Obama for that matter, where there were all these leaks about how America had been sort of misusing this information. So that's what led me to want to read this book. Sorry, I just drank a lot of water really fast. So that's why I'm sort of burping away. I'm sorry, you're picking that up. It ain't pretty. If you're here, you're not here for pretty or sounding pretty or any pretty. So I started listening to this book, and I got to say, it's absolutely fascinating. The guy's obviously very smart. I am concerned where it's going. But his point is just that the greatest minds of our generation. He doesn't say this specifically, but in my mind, the greatest minds of our generation have spent squandered their intelligence and their innovation on things like social media and trying to sell things to consumers. And he feels that that's because the 60s and 70s had people distrusting our government, with many just causes, I might add. And so people didn't want to get involved in government-related things because it was too controversial, and it sort of could come back and bite them, and it was difficult for them to explain to their friends and family, and also probably there's not as much money. But who knows? I'm guessing Palantir makes some cash. So his point was, we need to go back to the days where technology and innovation, and technology and innovative companies and people worked hand in hand with the government to make sure that America and Europe and these existing he would call, I suppose the good guys. Are we the good guys? Are we the bad guys? The idea of like keeping America going, keeping Europe going as a peacekeeping force, as a force of good in the world, and to combat any bad actors that are out there. So that was the point of him starting this company. Was he wanted the company to create things that he felt would protect and empower his clients, or his country in this case. I shouldn't use clients because he's talking about countries. So he wanted to help his country. He wanted to create these tools that his country could use to protect themselves. And unfortunately, one of the things that comes up very, very early in this book, I think it's even in the preface, where he talks about the idea that if you fear me, you won't attack me. So there is definitely a violent undertone to this stuff, and which worries me. And he would argue that this is a state of mind that is a problem, because if we won't develop technology for the good of our country and for the good of the people in our country, perhaps is a better way of putting it, that instead we get sucked into these trivial social media platforms, which are basically just photo sharing and chat things. Why aren't those brilliant brains using their power for some good? I mean, I would argue, I suppose, that you could say that Elon Musk is at least trying to innovate, whether you like him or not, and I don't. The SpaceX, no one can argue with the fact that SpaceX has done some extraordinary stuff to forward space exploration. And and Tesla, again, with the EV vehicles, they just didn't, they weren't cool. I mean, there's people had the Prius, and people, but it wasn't catching on the way it did until Tesla got into the market and sort of sexied it up a bit. Again, there are problems with all of this stuff, and then problems with these people. But just from a sort of a high level looking down at this stuff, I'm fascinated by this book because I'm curious to know how he perceives the connection between technology and innovation and a governmental organization, which he says has basically lost its ability to understand and engage with the scientific community, which again is a complaint that we've had for a long time. It's like, looking at those, old, doddering old white guys talking about how the interwebs are bad for kids or whatever. It doesn't fill us with confidence. But what's funny is, they used to be, not specifically them, but if you go back a couple of generations, there was nothing extraordinary about people having numerous fields of interest and expertise. I mean, Benjamin Franklin was a politician because he thought he should, but he was an inventor. There were a lot of people who embodied this kind of, I mean, they didn't even have the word polymath, right? They didn't need it because everyone was into the sciences. Einstein was a hero, but he was a celebrity as well. And he was a celebrity in the news because of his science, and his science was a part of that news. And that he feels that is missing. And I would agree with that. I don't necessarily, not sure that I would then go and start a company called Palantir that would fix it. But at the same time, I like the way he's thinking. I think this, again, you can pick and choose what you like from these people, but just kind of a fascinating, it's actually distracting me. I was reading this book on China by Kissinger, but is it Kissinger? Yeah, I think it's Kissinger. But I was sort of wading through it, and I just felt like something different. So I picked up this Palantir book because I'd heard them talking about it on one of my little security podcasts and stuff. So basically, it's AI, surveillance, drones, and trying to get America to have the skill set, the technology, and the tools that they need to basically keep the world under their thumb, I suppose is the way of putting it. And that is not comfortable for a lot of people to say, I'm sure, and to be a part of. But he feels, and there's an interesting part of this, like, I mean, how much of the responsibility, you got these people creating these massive multi-billion dollar companies on the backs of a civilization and a company that has been created through the hard work and support of people, for hundreds of years. Should they not be responsible to help maintain that in some way, shape, or form? I mean, I feel like that isn't out of the realm of possibility. I think it should be. I mean, at the very least, pay your freaking taxes. I mean, this tax dodging stuff is ridiculous. The fact that you could borrow money and then write it off as a loss instead of spending the billions of dollars you have and never pay a dime in tax, and then you get to choose where you want to put your money. I mean, it's just, it's sickening to me. So at the very least, I feel like from what he's saying, I would say right away, great. Let's start. Let's make sure let's close these tax loopholes and let everyone pay the tax that they need to pay. I don't love tax, and everyone I think feels like they pay too much of it, but that certainly doesn't seem to apply to politicians or to technology giants as well. So just, really, really sort of fascinating thing to dive into. So good evening to everybody, or good morning. If he's a bot, he sure is dedicated. He's been commenting away at these for ages. What's the deal? Good evening from Germany, Puma Q. Not my problem if there is no way into my royal line, not even for what might be my children by court cases. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm still on the fence as to whether he's a bot or a person. Who's this? Who? Lieutenant James is fascinating. Just ask Rod. I said still twice. Momoa is not too big. He and Joe Flanagan are still really good friends still. Oh God, yeah. Those two are inseparable. They're amazing. And Jason is an absolutely lovely man. Hollywood does weird things to people, but Jason's he's a lovely guy. I mean, he's a weirdo. He always was a weirdo, and I love him for it. We aspired to intelligence. We didn't belittle it. It didn't make us feel inferior. Wow. Anchoritis. That's a very, very good quote. Hello, David Sams. Hello, Binary Blitz. They understood the concept of a civil servant, the weight of it, and where they really were on the totem pole. Yeah, I mean, people. I mean, I guess this is a wartime. It's sort of a wartime attitude, wasn't it? That you did your part for the cause, and that cause was to fight for the freedom and survival of the Western world at that time. And I mean, that is going to get passed down at least for a couple of generations. And then I think 60s and 70s, very good example of that trust being misused by crooked politicians and a sort of a jaded world that then turned on the government forces, and having not, well, 60s and 70s was they were faced with wars and having to be a part of that. But I think as we've got older and we've progressed beyond that, like my generation hasn't had to, and certainly in North America hasn't had to deal with that. There are obviously other places that have and do, and God, I wish they didn't. But it makes me very. I will say this, and maybe it's just all the Hollywood movies I've watched. Would you like to play a game? Is the idea of this AI and nuclear weapons, AI and it was just a matter before drones started killing people. I mean, there was as soon as I saw that you could have a little helicopter that you could fly remote control. This is even before it was autonomous. The remote controlled helicopter. My first thought was like, oh God, who's the first idiot who's going to strap something explosive on that and fly it into a freaking stadium or something? I mean, I go dark on these things. It's true. I tend to worry about everything, but it definitely made me think. And then the idea that people were saying like, oh, you can't, everyone was very nervous about weaponizing their robots. I mean, Boston Dynamics is very concerned that nobody, they didn't like the idea of people sort of strapping AK-47s on the side of a robot dog and stuff. I feel like that's changed. I mean, this is with this regime, I suppose, which seems like a very fractious and what they call it, hawkish, They want war. They want, maybe not want war, but they certainly want the war machine. The industrial military complex seems to be going to be funded. Unfortunately, it seems like ICE is going to get funded more than the military in a lot of these cases. Good morning from California. Agreed with the tax sentiment. People underestimate or understand social programs when you explain firefighting, but rarely pass that as a self versus group care or empathy for others with dollars. Yeah, it is weird, isn't it? I mean, the fact of the matter is, I've always been very frustrated with the idea of these sort of billionaires or just wealthy individuals who get to choose where their public service goes. And that is a luxury and an entitlement that really just, my skin crawls at the thought of it. It's like, oh, Lord so-and-so has endowed this amount of money to the library to support this, and this. And you're like, well, or he could have just freaking paid taxes and then the government that is being voted in by the people can decide where that money should go. That's the point of society. That otherwise we're basically back to kings and potentates and all that stuff. Are we not? I mean, it's so funny. I used to consider myself a conservative. Like I really did. I would call myself a bleeding heart conservative. Small government, small government, small c conservative. I don't feel conservative at all anymore. I feel like this is ridiculous. I mean, I feel like we're run not by governments anymore. We're run by these massive corporations that seem to have are happy to have their tendrils into everything, as they should. I mean, as they would. I mean, they're trying to up their shareholder value, and I think that's it's fine. But it feels like right now that it's just about just paying your way to avoid any of the rules that apply to the rest of us, or any of the solutions that will help the rest of us going forward. I can't believe our president is not at this climate conference. I can't believe it. It doesn't. I mean, what kind of an idiot doesn't see what's going on? Doesn't look at the scientific facts behind this stuff. Even if you don't believe it's humans that are causing the climate change, the climate is changing. There is data for all of this. There's data to prove that we've done it too. But it's extraordinary to me how short-sighted and how greed can get in the way of this stuff. So a book that I'm very eager to get through. I'm hoping it'll go into some of the technologies that they're using at Palantir as well. I think there's definitely a dystopian kind of future for this kind of stuff. If it could go horribly, horribly wrong, and I don't like whose hands this technology is in right now. I don't like the idea of it being used for ICE. They're saying that the different article was saying that the ICE agents are using, I believe it may not be Palantir's, it may be another facial recognition software, and they're using that to determine whether someone is an American citizen or not their citizenship cards or their birth certificate cards or whatever. They're not using those. They're relying on this technology, which has been documented to be inaccurate in many ways, especially with visible minority populations. So yeah, it's amazing. He considered entering data. He just doesn't like what he considered was there. All right, but the emperor is wearing his new clothes. What cares he about the weather? There you go. Man, we really did walk into 1984, didn't we? I mean, someone said we walked in 1980. We 1984. You got it wrong because we buy our own cameras and we worry that nobody's watching. So I mean, we really have brought a lot of this on ourselves, but at the same time, I feel like I'm not sure we had all the information going forward. And I'm curious to see how, I mean, is anyone living in Australia with kids? Because as of December, they're getting rid of, they're putting age restrictions on social media platforms of all sorts, from YouTube to TikTok and all of them. Basically, I don't remember exactly what the age is, but I'm curious to see what it's going to be like for kids having their social media suddenly pulled away from them and told that they should, call their friends more. Jim the Evo, are you in here? Is Jim the Evo in here? If he's not, he will be tomorrow. 2 Hewlett chats in one day. I know, Jim the Evo. I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? But this morning was a real chat. This morning was so much fun talking to Sarah. And if you haven't had a chance to do it, go check it out, because she's just, oh my God, I came out of there feeling so energized and excited and and positive about the future. I mean, she's got such wonderful ideas and such an amazing, infectious love of this stuff. You've got to listen to it. That's the I'm with Stargate Genius that I did today. And then as a special treat for me and everyone, it's James Gurney tomorrow. So James Gurney, who's in our chat right now, Jim the Evo. If you got any questions for him, you may want to throw them at him right now. But don't answer them, Jim. Don't answer them because tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time, I believe is what we agreed on. We're going to be talking to Jim the Evo about bacterial phage, these deadly viruses that attack bacteria. And if you signed up for my email of awesome awesomeness, you will have got a reminder about it. And if you haven't signed up for email of awesome awesomeness, by the way, head on over to techbandits.org because there's that there. I suggest you sign up for that. That's a little newsletter thing that I send out. It's kind of fun. I love it. It's just fun things that I'm either up to or that I've seen, and usually sciencey and techie and that kind of stuff. And also you could there's a donation page there. There's also a Patreon and all that kind of stuff. So do all that stuff if you don't mind. Any help would be wonderful. It's nice to get a hand with subscriptions and all the various things that my lifelong learning fun involves. Is it true today what I've seen about Trump today? He wants to ban fat people coming to America. No, is that true? Is that really true? Oh God. Soon you'll have human replicators. Yeah, I think we're getting close. Have you seen the robotics? Some of the new robotic stuff. Some of the new robotics was so realistic. And again, I'm hoping this is not fake. Maybe it's AI. I don't know. But I was looking on LinkedIn, and there was this robotics company that was showing off their humanoid robot, and it was so human in its movements and so sort of lumpy in the way it looked. I was like, is that a person? And apparently, sure enough, a number of people had said, like, come on, that's not a really robot. It's not a robot. So they had to cut off the fabric of the leg to show that there was, in fact, a robotic skeleton beneath this fabric. I mean, wow, we are on the cusp of some serious, freaking massive changes. I'm not sure I want a robot walking around, especially ones that have human intervention allowed, where they've got sort of controllers at wherever their evil base is, and or good or base of good, where it has to literally step in and be remote piloted if it runs into an issue. Could you imagine that in your house? Like, you're like in the kitchen down there having your coffee in the morning, and with your oldest pair of underwear on, and suddenly your robot switches into remote mode to figure out how to fix the dishwasher. And I don't want to know about that. No one wants to see that anyways. Man, we really did walk into it. It's true. Okay. Phages fighting replicator bugs. Okay. See what we can do with that, Ivan. I think it's Ivan. I'm confusing my replicators. There's the foodie replicators that could replicate anything, and then weird crawly things. Hello, John. John PBB. Replicator by Ivan. Oh no, LOL. Here we go. He wants to restrict people who may need to rely on government assistance. We've always done that to some extent. Australia does this already, does this. They even kick out kids diagnosed with autism who are already in the country. Good Lord. It's difficult, isn't it? I mean, it sounds almost eugenic in its approach, like life's worth living, life's worth supporting now. I mean, is that the deal? I know that there's always been a, what is your benefit to the country, unless you are a refugee. Maybe there could be disability refugees now, or medical refugees potentially, as a possibility. I think the focus is always on people who are gaming the system, and there will always be people gaming the system. There will always be people gaming every system, and I think we're focusing on the wrong thing. I mean, if we're focusing on just stopping the odd jerk from misusing the system, I would quite happily take that if it's going to help hundreds, thousands, or millions of other people. Like, surely we should be okay with that. That could be. It's just that's just a little bit of churn, a little bit of waste, or whatever. I think there's something that's so shocking to me is the sheer number of people on this SNAP program, these food stamps. what, I can't remember what it was. It's like 40 million or something, 42 million. It's a ridiculous number of people who need help to eat, who need help to get enough food to survive. And I don't care if 2 million of them are ripping off the system. If we can help 40 million people, should we not be doing that? And is there not something wrong with the system that we have that many people who can't support themselves? What the hell is going on? Is this an issue with healthcare and insurance? Is this what is the underlying cause of this stuff? Instead of trying to punish the people who may misuse the system, why aren't we focusing on the underlying issues that are causing us to have to put out these vast sums of money to keep people fed? And I don't think we're going to see that in this current with this current government. I don't think they have any interest of getting data on that. I think they're much more interested in focusing on those sort of negative elements and throwing out the baby with the bathwater, basically. So what else we got in here? What do we got? Have you played the game Detroit Become Human? I have not. TARDIS and Timbits. I think Baz was playing it and it looked pretty fun, I gotta say. I would make a point to traumatize the robot operator with things they can't unsee. Well, Binary Blitz. If you're seeing me in my oldest underwear, trust me, you're never going to unsee that. Your shop's cool, by the way. Some really nice stuff on here. The Genius dispenser is really pretty. Oh, fantastic. Oh, CJ. Celestial Jigsaw is checking out the Stargate inspired merch that I have on the techbandits.org site. It links to Canardian, but it's easier. It's easier for me if everyone just goes through techbandits.org. You can look for the shop there and see that. Fantastic. What have we got in here? The best part is the picture of Huzzah. You like that? You got it. I always like to slip a little photo of Huzzah into my email of awesomeness, because I end with Cheerio and Huzzah, so I feel like it's only right that I include a little promo for her as well. Kind of stupid to build these. Going to put a lot of people out of work, but if companies do this, no one will have money to buy their stuff when robots take over human jobs. I mean, Ryan, that's funny. You're sort of voicing the union boss who was talking to Ford about the automation in his lab, in his plants way back when he first sort of started automating the process of building cars. And the guy was told how many people would be replaced by these machines, sort of proudly saying, I won't need all these men now. I just need this machine to do it. He said, okay, well, are the machines going to buy your car? So we do have to figure this out. We definitely have to sort this out. There's going to be massive disruptions because of this. I mean, I don't care whether you love it or hate it. It's already having an impact on things. There are everything from medical breakthroughs to cybersecurity. AI is a part of this, whether we like it or not at this point. Phishing campaigns and spam and slop that's going to be sent out by people trying to get people's attention and make a penny or two. Like I say, we game the system. That's what we do. We're all hackers. We're innately hackers. We are a hacker species. That's what we do. That's like, we've used tools to get ahead since the very, very beginning. So we're of course going to do that with these new tools as well. The question is can our society keep up with the technology we're creating? Can it in the same way that we've had to come up with rules and understandings and diplomacy to keep this ridiculous nuclear arsenal that we have in its silos and not blowing each other up. I mean, in the fact that we were, at least we were intelligent enough and to come up with those kind of guidelines. Let's hope we can come up with something like that with AI. Although I will say, I don't think that we're going to be stopping it in the same way. Well, in a way, it's very similar to nuclear, I suppose. People are still developing weapons, but they aren't using them, right? So the hope is that we can develop these AIs in a way that is that we can maintain control over them. The concern, which I spoke about this the other day, is if we've all got Einstein in our pocket, and I say that as a sort of personifying this kind of idea of an incredibly intelligent AI assistant. Let's say, if you've got an affordable Einstein in your pocket and you ask it how to do some terrible things, it's going to tell you. And we need to figure out how we can respond to those kind of people. As always, it's the edge cases that dictate the ridiculous number of laws that we have to have, right? I mean, it's always some idiot who does something that you then got to have it's now a law that you've got to write instructions on your folding child stroller, not to fold the child stroller with the child in it, because I don't know what has folded their child in it and then I suppose some lawyer has come up with a potential situation where that could happen, that people could get sued for. So we definitely have a lot to figure out. I'm not saying that's not the case, but I don't believe a blanket ban is the right approach. I also don't think it's possible at this point. I don't think so. I think the reality is, certainly the AI in the form that it is today is out there. It's there. I don't think it's going anywhere. I'm definitely interested. So what have we got? The Star Pilot's got some stuff going on there. Combine them, get weird crawly things that produce and bring you lunch. Oh, I wish. Star Pilot 6. I'm gonna need some lunch soon. Something I think everyone wants to know from Mr. Hewlett: pineapple on pizza, yes or no? I'm a yes. Crops. I feel that McKay would be a yes as well, even if it was just to be difficult. But I am a big fan of the Hawaiian pizza, as they call it here, which I know makes a mockery of pizza itself. But my favorite pizza, if we're going to go into pizza, and we really should, is I'm a big fan of one called the Diavolo pizza, which is just basically spicy sausage, spicy hot peppers. I usually like to put a spicy oil on it as well. I am a big fan of the fiery mouth pizza, or just a delicious cheese pizza too. Honestly, when it comes to pizza, it's hard to screw up a pizza for me. There's another one. There's a company called Descendants. It makes a big, thick, doughy, almost cakey like pizza dough, and on top of it, they put things like jerk chicken. And there's one that's, I think, jerk chicken, pineapple, and it's a salsa thing on it. They do these extraordinary. If you're in Toronto and you want to try, it's not cheap, but if you want to get yourself a good, deliciously decadent pizza, then I would go with Descendants as a great choice. The other one I like here is what do they call Blondies? Blondies is another one I like as well. Although, here's the other thing is, I really enjoyed, there was a special extra large pizza at Pizza, which is basically like the McDonald's of pizza here. And it was one of the sports ball players for the Blue Jays, Vladimir or something or another, I think, who had this pizza, was sort of named after him. And it was during the World Cup and stuff. And we ordered it because we felt it was our national duty to do that. And it was delicious. That too. So there you go. And that just had 3 toppings on it. So it's good. Yes, people gaming the system hurts people like me who need it. Yeah, I mean, but again, I feel like I've always said this about the tax system too. I feel like the tax system is designed to be gamed. The whole point of the way the tax works, it doesn't just give you a bill or an invoice, which frankly I would welcome. I would complain, but I'd still welcome that. As opposed to, you've got to figure out ways to make sure that you've weaseled your way out of enough tax that it makes sense to pay the tax you pay. And really, it shouldn't be that complicated. These are just loopholes that, frankly, self-serving politicians have come up with to help them get elected, or help them get out of debt, or help them avoid paying taxes. I'm kind of a fan of the flat tax. The idea that there is you earn this much money, you pay this much money. Simple as that. And that applies to everyone. Because my hunch is, if it applied to everyone, we would probably have a lot less tax to pay, because I think it would even out pretty quickly. Currently, we're watching SGI. I had forgotten how good it was. Oh, well, remember, Robert. Just you remember. Hi, David. Favorite scene? Rodney, I need to know, will I still have hair? John, I'm sorry. I hope on AI can deal and deliver replicator girlfriend, maybe. Oh, Marek, that's a problem. Apparently, that's already a problem. People like trying to marry their AI assistants and stuff. Oops, what's going on here? You cannot be right more. Huzzah is the best on emails. It's true. That's the problem with all this AI stuff. How do you know what you're reading is real and what's not? Are you the real David? Julian Casey, I'm actually an AI. No, I, I think I mentioned this before as well, but the idea that you could create an AI to do this. You could absolutely create an AI that pretended to exercise and then talk to you and could probably interact eventually, and it could totally do that for you. Except that I do this for me. It's entirely selfish. I love that you're here and I appreciate people being here. I don't understand why you enjoy it, but I enjoy pontificating about this stuff. It's nice for me and it's my treat for doing the miserable exercise. So, there's no point in me having an AI do that. Even if an AI can do that, doesn't mean it should or that it will, because this is for me, right? This is my communicating with people. This is my way of getting the ideas that I've been listening to on the torture device, on the rowing machine, and giving voice to them for myself so that I can help hopefully lock some of this stuff in and certainly see where I'm missing things that I haven't remembered or retained. It's very valuable for me. And so I don't want or need an AI to do that, even if it can do that. So I think there will always be that element of things. And I also think there's always going to be an element that goes, okay, if an AI does this, and if you find out you've been listening to an AI and you've been enjoying it, fine, then enjoy it, whatever. I mean, why not? I remember when video games came out, and it was like, well, these are stupid. Why would anyone play video games? They're so blocky, and you can't see what's going on. They're complicated or whatever. Well, guess what? They caught on. People loved them. And an entire generation didn't not get a job because of them. They learned how to program computers or hack computers. They learned they found areas of interest either based on the computer stuff that they enjoyed playing, or they it became a part of their relaxation time or part of their social time. Certainly for my son, he spends his day running around the university and will go to parties and meet people. He's very good about getting out about that. But when he wants to hang out with the friends he's grown up with since he was a little guy, he goes online and they can connect in a way that they always have, even though they're in different corners of the country. Basically, I work at a retail grocery. It says 8.4 million goes into SNAP per month. That's like 94 billion per year. Yeah, wow, that's insane. But I don't say let's stop it. I say let's figure out why is that necessary, and how do we fix the underlying problem there. If people can't afford to eat properly, then we need to change something within the system, or and I mean that within the corporate system, within the governmental system. That is so effed up. I mean, that's just freaking ridiculous that many people are that badly situated that they can't get. I mean, it's extraordinary that we allow that to happen. I mean, I think it's wonderful that that we are feeding them and making sure they're not starving to death. I mean, unless there's a shutdown, I suppose. But I think that's absolutely what we should be doing. We should be looking after people. And you don't know when something's going to go horribly wrong and and you're going to need that support yourself. This is not just about self-made men and all that nonsense. There's this is so much of this is about luck. So much of this is about the luck of where you're born, who you're born to, where you're born in the place that you're born, what access you have to opportunities, what color your skin is, what sex you are, with the way you look, so much of that is luck. It's all luck. And we pretend that we're all these self-made people. The reality is everyone has their own little superpowers. Everyone has their own little unfair advantages and disadvantages. And the world is not fair. Things happen to bad things happen to good people, good things happen to bad people, and vice versa. I mean, it's, and I think the fact that there is that much money in the government to help people, I feel that then we need to figure out a better way of dealing with this, because I don't think I don't think that's the way to do it. I feel like it, yeah, that's extraordinary to me. I mean, I had no freaking idea. No idea. You know? I mean, I won't name names, but I have close people who are close to me who have used, I don't know if they're using it now, but have definitely used um, food bank services. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more, given the way, the economy can go. Uh, let's put AI on this problem and see if there's a way we can figure out some of this stuff. Hate to ask, any chance you have 30 cents for me? I'm close to saving up for a meal on PayPal. Oh boy, the online meal, is that the plan? I do not know. Does that mean the lemon gag was real? Oh no, the lemon gag was the writers. The writers came up with that. They had a history with I think another writer of some sort who claimed to have a rather dodgy, dubious lemon allergy, and they thought that'd be kind of a fun character thing, and it was. David, thank you. Your great work at Stargate. Thank you very much, Ken Ward. That's very nice of you to say so. No, I am not allergic to lemons for real. It's true. How about the intense solar flare we had? Cool stuff. Cal, I didn't even know we'd had one. Is that recent? I'm curious to learn about that. I'll have to look that up. Cal, the fabulous Cal, or as I call her, the Hammer. Thank you for being here, as always. How are you, Cal? Well, again, if them with the most didn't evade tax and hoard their wealth, wouldn't the poor pay less and have more to maybe feed themselves? It feels that way, doesn't it, Saz? I feel like I don't understand. It's funny. This is something that Trump said when they were talking about his tax return. He was saying, like, well, only a chump would pay more tax than he needs to. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong, because that's the system. The system is you try to do everything you possibly can to hide and get all the claims you can get. And I'm not saying evade taxes, but you are trying to pay as little tax as possible. And with that mentality, of course, these people with lots of money and basically unlimited resources are going to figure out how to find loopholes or create loopholes for themselves so that they can stop paying these taxes, which is, again, where a lot of the politicians involved in coming up with these loopholes are basically just lining their own pockets for these things, or at least lining the pockets of their constituents who are going to vote for them next time. So if that's our approach to paying our fair share of America, of being in America and having America's infrastructure, America's education, America's, the safety and the convenience of living in many parts of the states, then I guess, then we're kind of doomed then, aren't we? So I feel like you're right. We should, I don't understand why people, why would they feel like they don't have to pay these things? Why do they, I almost want them to, I don't want them to feel guilty. I want them to feel compelled to pay this stuff. I don't want them to feel anything. I want them to be told they need to pay their taxes. I mean, I think we need to get rid of all of these corporate loopholes. And I mean, and everyone's like, oh my God, well, it'll crush oh my God, these companies won't be able to survive, except that we basically, as Americans, and I'm assuming as Canadians as well. I'm in Canada now, but I am American and British and Canadian. As in America, these companies are growing up with all of the resources and advantages that America has to offer. Why the F aren't they paying for it? I mean, this nonsense about building themselves. Oh, this one person has built this fabulous face page thing or whatever, and they're worth billions of dollars now. It's like, that's on the backs of the society that allowed them access to libraries and teachers and roads and water systems and firefighters and healthcare people and teachers and tax dollars, right? I mean, that's what's so frustrating about this. Is I feel like this is completely ass backwards. Yeah, all right, now I'm getting angry. You know what it is? It's because I'm getting hungry. I'm getting hungry and I'm beginning to despair. That's what it is. Oh my God, there's so many chats. I've missed all of them. I'm so sorry. Okay, The elite would need to gaffe about anything but themselves and their shareholders. Give up. Oh, I know what that means. You're a brave man to talk about this on brave man to talk about this on the internet. What do you mean, wholesome vampire? I mean, I think there's a lot of people talking about this stuff on the internet. You know, I think we're at this sort of let them eat cake stage, which is really worrying. I mean, when you're having multiple parties at Mar-a-Lago, or whatever the hell the place is called, while the government shut down, and you're claiming you don't have the money to feed a population while you're bailing out, you know, tin pot dictators in other countries. I shouldn't say, I don't know what the politics of it is, but you know, I just feel like what the hell's going on? We're sending aircraft carriers to Venezuela. Well, what about poor Ukraine? That's basically the front lines for an invasion by Russia. It just seems like a crazy mixed up world of craziness. But let's focus on what we can focus on. And that is staying fit. I don't know. I don't know where to go with that. I don't know where to go. How do you, I mean, you know, I think we have to break it down like an engineer would. You need to break it down into manageable parts, and we have to figure out how to fix them. And I think one of the big fixes here is going to be to fix our tax system. I think that needs to be fixed. Absolutely, I think it needs to be fixed. That, I mean, if we want a solution to this fact that people can't earn a living, then I think the people who can earn an extraordinary living should pay their fair share of taxes. And again, fair share. I'm not saying you gouge them for being successful. I'm just saying that you know, if I'm paying 30 cents or 40 cents on every dollar, they should be doing the same. I mean, it just seems, you know, I don't understand. I mean, maybe there are checks and balances that I don't understand, but that just seems like a pretty blanket statement that seems to make sense and seems fair to me. You know what I mean? Yeah, they don't need a fifth yacht. You know, yeah, it's crazy. I would love to bring back Atlantis, by the way. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Thank you. Okay, yes, focusing on your health is always good. I know I'm being silly. I'm just because I'm a sweaty old Stargate wreck here that's just done some exercise and is now pontificating about politics, which I know nothing about. It's just came up because of this Republic of this technological republic book that I'm listening to. So I look forward to more of that. I look forward to more of this, and I look forward to tomorrow because I get to talk to James Gurney. So tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time, maybe after another one of these if I have to do some exercise in there somewhere. But certainly 1 p.m. Eastern time. Please come and join us, because I guarantee you James Gurney is a pleasure to speak to, and you'll have an opportunity to ask questions, and I just think you'll really enjoy the stuff he's up to and his perspective on things, because it's he's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So looking forward to that. In the meantime, go check out techbandits.org. There's actually a link to all of the video stuff there as well. So just go to techbandits.org. And if you're got an itch for exercise, then do it, because honestly, it's making me feel a lot better. And reward yourself afterwards with a little stream or something, because it's, you know, this is great. I'm loving it. Thank you for being here. All right, until we geek again, I'll say be brave, be kind, be brilliant, cheerio, and huzzah, because where's huzzah? Oh, I got a walker tonight. Jane walked her this morning. Oh, I've got dog walking on my list of to-dos too. Oh, stupid dogs. All right, bye everyone. I'm gonna go eat some lunch because I despair.